Okay, everyone, let's talk about anxiety for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know that feeling, right? Like when you're about to give a presentation or you're waiting for like a super important email, your stomach kind of clenches up, your palms get sweaty. It can really feel like it's always there, like in the background. So, what if I told you there were some natural ways to kind of like ease that tension, to feel a bit more steady emotionally? And we're not talking about just automatically jumping to medication.
That's a really great point, and it's actually exactly what we're diving into today. We've been looking at this stress support review, and our main goal here is to, break down what it says, see what we can learn about how using natural methods can be a real help for people dealing with anxiety. It's all about finding that inner balance.
And you know, it's really interesting. This review actually mentioned that more than 19% of adults in the US experience anxiety every year. It's like a huge chunk of the population. So this is something that could really make a difference for a lot of people, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. It's about feeling empowered, taking control of your well-being, and discovering some really practical ways to feel more emotionally balanced. And, understanding how to manage stress is a huge part of that.
Right. So let's talk specifics. What kind of natural options are we talking about here?
This review covers a pretty wide range of things, everything from using herbal supplements, which can be super gentle and effective, to aromatherapy, because essential oils can be powerful, to even just making small tweaks in your daily life. We're going to unpack all of that, see what the review says about how these things can help you manage anxiety.
Okay, so before we jump into solutions, we need to define the problem, right? Like just how widespread is anxiety?
It's more common than you might think. The review highlights that about 6.8 million people in the US alone have generalized anxiety disorder, and globally it affects something like 16.6% of people at some point in their lives. That's a lot of people dealing with, that constant nervousness, the racing heartbeat, trouble focusing, all those classic anxiety symptoms.
Wow, so we're not just talking about feeling a little stressed now and then. This is like a serious issue for a lot of people.
Definitely. And what the review really drives home is that it's not just a matter of pushing through those feelings. The symptoms, like constantly worrying or having sleep problems, they can really seep into every aspect of your life. Think about it. It affects your decision making, how you interact with other people, even just your ability to enjoy things.
Which makes sense why so many people are searching for natural solutions. And the review presents these not as band-aids, but as part of a broader approach to complete mental wellness,
Mhm.
like a holistic view.
You got it. And that idea of mental wellness, that's really key here. It's not about pretending stress doesn't exist. We all have stress, right? It's about building resilience. It's about learning how to navigate those inevitable challenges without feeling completely overwhelmed.
Okay, so the big question now is, does the science back up these natural approaches? I mean, there's a lot of hype out there, but we want evidence-based stuff.
Totally. And the good news is the review points to a lot of research that's like really validating the idea that your body's response to stress can be changed. It can be influenced by natural methods.
Okay, so spill the tea. What kind of scientific findings are we talking about?
For instance, there was a study in 2019 that looked at ashwagandha, which is an herb that's been used for centuries. And they found that it could reduce stress levels by, get this, like 33.77% to 38.34%. Pretty impressive. There's also rhodiola, another awesome plant that's considered an adaptogen. The studies on that show it has some pretty significant stress-reducing effects as well.
Wow, and the review even hints that herbal supplements, in general, might be a good alternative to some conventional meds for anxiety. So how does this stuff actually work? Is it just a placebo effect?
Not at all. The review talks about how these herbs and their practices can actually affect brain chemistry. They can influence how your brain processes stress signals and how it regulates that whole stress response.
Hmm,
It's kind of like gently guiding your body back towards a state of balance.
I see. So it's not just like a mental trick. There are real physiological things happening.
Exactly. The review lays out some pretty clear, scientifically backed approaches to reducing stress. For instance, using herbal supplements that have adaptogens, which basically help your body handle stress more effectively. Think of them like little shock absorbers. And then there's mindfulness and meditation, getting the right kind of exercise, and making sure you have a good sleep routine. All of these things, the research suggests, can actually lead to changes in your brain chemistry, and that can potentially reduce anxiety and boost your mental well-being.
Let's dive a little deeper into those herbal supplements because the review spends a lot of time on those. It paints them as like gentle alternatives for managing anxiety. What are some of the top contenders?
There are a few that stand out. Kava, for one. Studies have shown that it can moderately reduce anxiety symptoms, and get this, in some studies, the average difference on anxiety scales was minus of 2.46. That actually suggests it could be in a similar range of effectiveness as some of those milder pharmaceutical options.
Wow, okay. So that's promising. What other herbal remedies are on the list?
Passionflower is another one that the review highlights. It's known for being gentle but effective at reducing stress. Research suggests it can help with anxiety, and its effects are comparable to mild sedatives. The average difference on anxiety scales was negative 4.20. And importantly, most people tolerate passionflower really well.
What about valerian root? That's another herb that I've heard can help with relaxation and sleep.
Yep, valerian root is in there too. The review gives you a handy little table with some details, like the typical dosage, which is 100 to 1300 milligrams, and its main benefit, which is reducing anxiety symptoms. But, and this is important, the research on valerian root is kind of mixed. It doesn't have the same level of consistent evidence as some of the others.
That's a really important point. Not every herbal supplement out there has rock-solid scientific backing.
Right. And the review is really clear about that. It stresses that you should always talk to a healthcare professional before you start taking anything new, just to make sure it's right for you. And there's always a chance of interactions with other medications you might be taking. The review also really emphasizes that herbal supplements should be part of a bigger plan. Think lifestyle changes, what you eat, and of course, getting advice from a professional if you need it.
So, switching gears a bit, let's talk about essential oils and aromatherapy. I know tons of people swear by those for relaxation. Does the science, according to this review, support that?
Well, the review positions aromatherapy as a really strong natural method you can use to tackle anxiety. And they actually cite a review of like 30 studies. And those studies suggest that aromatherapy can really help. It can lead to better sleep, less anxiety, and even just an overall improvement in emotional well-being. And it's all thanks to those powerful essential oils.
Okay, so that's pretty convincing. Which essential oils are we talking about here specifically?
The review highlights a few stars of the show. Lavender, for instance, is known for its calming properties and how it can help with sleep, and it's got a high potential for reducing stress. Then there are the citrus oils, which are great for boosting mood and energy, and they can be pretty effective at reducing stress, too. And lastly, we've got rose oil, which is known for its ability to help you feel emotionally balanced and less anxious.
I love how you broke that down so people can really see the different benefits of each oil. Does the review tell us how to use them safely and effectively?
Absolutely. It gives some expert advice. For example, if you're putting essential oils on your skin, always dilute them with a carrier oil, like jojoba or almond oil. That's important. And it's best to use organic or therapeutic grade oils for the best quality. As for how you use them, direct inhalation, massage, or using a diffuser can all be really effective. And remember, aromatherapy isn't just about nice smells. It's a real science-backed way to manage stress. Oh, and two really important safety tips. Never ever ingest essential oils, and be careful with citrus oils in the sun as they can make your skin more sensitive. As always, talking to a healthcare professional before trying anything new is a good idea.
The review also zooms in on a specific supplement that's formulated for stress and anxiety relief. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Sure. It focuses on one particular supplement that's backed by research, and it's got a blend of natural ingredients that work together to really promote mental well-being. The review highlights two key players in this formula.
What are they and how do they help with stress?
One is lemon balm extract, and they're very specific about this. It has to have at least 7% rosmarinic acid, which is known for its calming effect on the nervous system. Then there's alpha-wave L-theanine at a dose of 200 milligrams per serving. L-theanine is an amino acid that's great for creating a sense of calm and helping balance out those neurotransmitters in your brain.
So how do you use this supplement? What does the review suggest?
The general guideline is one capsule once or twice a day. But of course, everyone's different, right? So the review strongly advises you to talk to a healthcare professional to get personalized recommendations.
Got it. So based on the research, what kind of results can you expect from this particular supplement?
The review suggests that it can help regulate your brain's GABA levels. GABA is a neurotransmitter that plays a big role in relaxation. The supplement may also help reduce glutamate, which is another neurotransmitter that's involved in your stress response, and it's supposed to create a calming effect, kind of similar to what you might feel during medication. Oh, and it's gluten-free, non-GMO, and vegetarian, which is great for people with different dietary needs.
Okay, so we've talked supplements, we've talked aromatherapy. Now let's get into those mind-body techniques that the review is so into. What kind of connection does it make between our mental and physical states when it comes to managing anxiety?
The review really pushes this holistic approach, It emphasizes the powerful link between mindfulness practices and relaxation techniques in terms of reducing anxiety. It even cites a study from 2023 that found mindfulness-based stress reduction, which is often called MBSR, can be just as effective as medication for dealing with anxiety. It's all about retraining those thought patterns that can feed anxiety.
Interesting. So what specific techniques are we talking about?
Oh, there are a bunch. Meditation, for instance, in all its different forms. Deep breathing exercises, which you can do anywhere, anytime. Then there's progressive muscle relaxation, where you basically tense and release different muscle groups. It's super helpful for relieving physical tension. And of course, yoga is always a good one.
The review also breaks down like how effective these techniques are, right?
Yep. It's got a whole table summarizing the average effectiveness based on studies. For example, meditation has been shown to improve anxiety symptoms by about 65%. Pretty cool. Deep breathing can potentially reduce cortisol, which is that big stress hormone, by around 55%. And progressive muscle relaxation can lead to a 60% reduction in anxiety levels. The takeaway here is that making these practices part of your daily life can make a world of difference. It's all about managing stress and building resilience for the long haul.
Now, we've got to talk about exercise. It's obviously important for our overall health, but I think a lot of people don't necessarily connect it to anxiety management. What's the link?
The review is super clear about this. Physical activity is a powerhouse when it comes to improving your mental health and managing anxiety. It's such a simple and effective form of self-care that everyone can benefit from. The review highlights tons of benefits, like noticeable reductions in anxiety symptoms and positive effects on your brain and your emotional state.
So what kind of exercise is best for stress relief?
They recommend a good mix. Aerobic exercise like brisk walking, running, or swimming is excellent. Then there's strength training, which can be done with weights or resistance bands. Yoga and Tai Chi are great for both mind and body. And for those who are up for it, high-intensity interval training or HIPA can be really beneficial too.
Any guidelines on how much exercise we should be getting?
The general recommendation is about 75 to 150 minutes of vigorous intensity exercise per week, or you can break it up into 30-minute sessions 3 to 5 days a week. Mixing up low and high intensity workouts is also a good idea. They even quote the Mental Health Research Institute, which states that physical activity is a powerful tool for managing stress and improving mental wellness. And get this, even just doing some light exercise or taking a quick 10-minute walk can lift your mood and make you feel more alert.
It's amazing how connected our physical and mental well-being really are. The review also talks about how important nutrition is for managing anxiety. How does what we eat affect our stress levels?
It's actually a huge factor. The review stresses how crucial nutrition is for your mental health and your ability to handle stress. It says that what you eat can have a direct impact on how anxious you feel and your overall well-being. And certain foods and eating habits can either make anxiety worse or help make it better.
So what are some examples of dietary changes that can make a difference?
Well, eating complex carbs can help boost serotonin in your brain, which is known for promoting a feeling of calmness. Starting your day with a protein-rich breakfast can help stabilize your blood sugar, which keeps your energy levels more even throughout the day. Then there are omega-3 fatty acids found in things like fatty fish, which are great for brain health and can potentially reduce anxiety. And don't forget about whole grains. They're super important for sustained energy and mood regulation.
Are there any other specific dietary tips for people who are really trying to reduce stress through their diet?
Absolutely. The review recommends a few things. Be mindful of how much caffeine you're drinking, especially close to bedtime. Try to limit alcohol. Make sure you're staying hydrated by drinking enough water. And eat tons of fruits and veggies. They're packed with nutrients that support mental well-being. There's even a quote from nutrition experts in the review that says, "Your diet can be a powerful tool in managing anxiety and promoting mental wellness. But keep in mind, changes to your diet don't always work overnight. It takes time and consistency to see the full effects."
Now, we can't talk about natural anxiety relief without mentioning CBD. It's everywhere these days. What does the review say about CBD and its potential for managing anxiety?
Right, CBD is definitely having a moment. The review brings it up as a natural option for managing anxiety and points to some studies suggesting it might be helpful for stress relief. And get this, something like 14% to 33% of adults in the U.S. have already tried CBD for various wellness reasons. The review explains that CBD works by interacting with your body's endocannabinoid system, which affects over 65 different receptors in the brain. And that includes receptors that deal with serotonin, which we know is a big player in regulating mood.
That's fascinating. So what kind of research is out there about CBD and anxiety?
The review mentions that over a dozen animal studies have shown that CBD can actually reduce anxiety-like behaviors. And there were studies done back in 2011 that showed CBD helped reduce anxiety levels in people who had social anxiety disorder. Then, a 2019 study showed that CBD might be helpful for teenagers with social anxiety as well.
Based on this research, does the review recommend any particular dosages of CBD?
Well, they do provide some ranges based on the research. For anxiety-reducing effects in those animal studies, the dosage was between 2.5 to 10 milligrams of CBD for every kilogram of body weight. Human clinical trials have gone as high as 1,500 milligrams a day without any major side effects being reported. But here's the interesting thing. Preclinical research suggests that moderate doses of CBD might actually be the most effective for reducing anxiety. As always, though, it's crucial to talk to a healthcare professional before you start any new supplement, especially if you're considering using CBD to manage anxiety. And keep in mind that the FDA hasn't fully figured out how to regulate CBD products yet, and there can be some side effects like sleepiness, changes in appetite, or mood swings. So it's best to use CBD as part of a broader anxiety management plan, and always with the guidance of a professional.
Okay, so we've explored specific tools, but the review also talks a lot about making lifestyle changes to manage anxiety over the long term. What kind of changes are we talking about?
Right, so the review really emphasizes that managing anxiety isn't just about using this or that technique or supplement. It's about making those fundamental changes in your life that can really make a difference over time. Things that can help you cope better, build up your emotional resilience, and ultimately reduce those anxiety symptoms for good.
So what are some of the big ones?
Sleep is huge, and it's something so many people struggle with. The review mentions that a whopping 69% of clinical trials found that making changes to your spirituality and lifestyle, which definitely includes sleep, can help lower anxiety levels. And then there's the importance of having strong social connections. The review talks about research that shows having good supportive relationships can actually reduce how much anxiety you experience. It makes sense, right? When you feel connected, you feel less alone, more supported, and better equipped to handle those curveballs life throws at you. And then there's time management and self-care, which can be a game changer.
Let's unpack those lifestyle factors a little bit. What about sleep? What's the link between sleep and anxiety, according to the review?
Well, getting enough sleep and getting good quality sleep is crucial for regulating your mood and how your body responds to stress. It's a non-negotiable for good mental health.
And how do those social connections actually help with anxiety?
It's all about feeling supported. Knowing you have people you can turn to, people who care about you, makes a huge difference. It can really help to buffer those feelings of stress and anxiety.
Okay, and what about time management and self-care? Where do they fit in?
When you can manage your time effectively, you feel more in control of your life. And that alone can really reduce those feelings of being overwhelmed, which is a major trigger for anxiety. Break down big tasks into smaller, more manageable steps. Set realistic goals for yourself. And make time for things you genuinely enjoy, things that help you recharge. That's self-care in a nutshell. And of course, the review also reminds us about the power of regular exercise. Aim for 150 to 300 minutes of moderate intensity exercise every week to reap the benefits for both your physical and mental health.
Now, as much as we love talking about these natural approaches to anxiety, we also have to be realistic about potential risks. Is there anything people should be aware of?
Absolutely. The review has a whole section dedicated to safety considerations, emphasizing the importance of being informed about any potential risks or interactions that can happen when you're trying to manage your mental wellness through self-care. While natural remedies can be amazing, they're not always completely side effect free.
What kind of side effects should people be aware of?
The review lists some common ones like mild digestive upset things like nausea or an upset stomach, headaches or dizziness, some temporary changes in your sleep patterns, and the possibility of allergic reactions to certain herbs or oils. And here's an interesting point. If you're already under a lot of stress, you might be more prone to experiencing reactions to some supplements. There's even a statistic in there that shows healthcare costs tend to be higher for people who are dealing with a lot of stress. So it's super important to be mindful of your overall health and to approach self-care with a sense of awareness.
When should someone definitely consult with a doctor when exploring these natural anxiety relief options?
The review is pretty clear about when it's time to seek professional advice. If you have any pre-existing health conditions, definitely talk to your doctor. The same goes if you're on any prescription meds, because there's always a chance of interactions. And of course, if your anxiety is really bad or it's not getting better, if you have any weird reactions to a natural remedy, that's a sign to call your doctor. The bottom line is your safety is paramount, and professional guidance is always a good idea, especially when it comes to your health.
So as we wrap up, what are the biggest takeaways from this stress support review? What should people really remember?
I think the most important thing is that this review encourages a holistic approach to managing anxiety. It's about combining natural supplements where appropriate with real lasting changes to your lifestyle. This two-pronged approach, as the review points out, can not only help with the anxiety you're feeling right now, but also give you the tools to better handle stress in the future. It's about building that resilience.
And the review also talks a lot about the importance of social support, right?
Big time. Having a strong support system, people you can rely on, is so crucial for good mental health. And the review highlights research that backs this up. People with strong social connections generally report higher levels of well-being and feel more supported overall.
So the key message here is that managing anxiety effectively requires a multifaceted approach.
You got it. It's about bringing together natural supplements if they're right for you, mind-body practices like meditation, making healthy food choices, nurturing those social connections, and always, always seeking professional guidance to create a plan that really works for you. Managing anxiety is an ongoing process, a journey of self-discovery and commitment. But as this review shows, there are so many effective and empowering strategies out there to help you navigate those challenges and find that lasting emotional well-being.
If you found this story intriguing, don't forget to leave us your comments, like it, and subscribe to the channel so that the same platform will remind you when we update with new posts.